So I have been wanting to make this video for years now. I am sitting in my car in front of my mom's house, and it's very hot outside. It's like humid, and that's why I'm a little sweaty and icky. But if I could save somebody some trouble with leasing and everything you need to know about a one bedroom, not even a one bedroom, just having roommates in general in college, this is the video. When I was younger, I always wanted to go to college because back then, during the civil rights era, which we're still technically in, my auntie was the first person who graduated from college. She got her master's, and from then on, a lot of my family members got stuff like that. So I was very inspired because she was a professor. She's retired now, but she was a professor, guidance counselor, all these other things, and it just kind of indoctrinated me to wanting to do that. But there's a lot of stuff that I would love to tell you so you don't make the same mistakes that I have. For example, I was so invested. I'd read about all these people who who went to college and they got, like, stayed in a dorm and they made good friends. That doesn't happen for everyone. And my thing is, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have friends, because I do. But I learned, like, early on in middle school that you shouldn't call everyone your friend. Not saying that just because you're popular means you automatically have fake friends, although that can happen. But sometimes you may not like your roommates. They may not like you. My first time living in an apartment, because I started dual enrollment my last year of high school as a senior in high school, and they said, like, the colleges I applied to, they were like, oh, you gotta finish that first before you can get accepted here to us, the big girl school. So I was like, okay. Not saying that to your college that's a state college isn't a big girl school, because it is. You know, you're taking secondary school, I believe it's called. Like, you're taking, like, your education farther than just high school. But anyways, basically, I was like, okay. And then so by the time I graduated from high school, I was on my second year of dual enrollment, and I needed to get my associate's degree. And so I stayed at an apartment that was right across from my college. I could walk across to my college, and boy, did I have fun doing that. I did some stupid things, like walking out at night and walking alone even. Sometimes I would do it with my dog, but it was just not very smart. When you sign up for an apartment, besides the guarantor, besides all that, you really, really, really need to make sure that the apartment that you stay at, don't just get it because it's the lowest priced and you're not trying to pay way out of pocket. Like, that's understandable, especially since we're now in a recession of 2022, and that sucks. But what I'm saying is, try to find something that's decent, even if you're still on a budget. Don't focus on, oh, this is cheap, so you get what you paid for. And I had to learn that my first year. I thinking back to it, my first apartment I shared with everybody. It was a house of 4, apartment of 4. So you have me, another roommate, and another roommate, and another roommate. When I first moved in, the girls that were already staying there, they were moving out. They were really cool and all. One of them left a picture or two that I took, and they were like, hey, if you want it, you want it. And I think they're really cool paintings, and I still have them. I gave it to my mom, though, and I think there's one that I let somebody else have, but that was years ago. And I'm not going to lie, they were really nice, but I could tell, like, it was because they were already moving out, and they could tell that I was, like, fresh in this situation, being on my own, because I thought at 18 you're an adult, and yeah, you're an adult legally, but that doesn't make you an adult. But anyways, the advice that I would give is that when you are staying in an apartment, my first apartment, then somebody else joined. I got a group of girls. I was left alone for a little bit, and then another group of girls moved in. I chose to do female only because my auntie was like, oh, if you move in co-ed, I'm not going to support you. And honestly, I didn't have a job like that then, so I had to do what I had to do. And I still have stayed with girls only, and that's just because I feel more comfortable. Although I do believe if I had chosen co-ed, which means it could be boys or girls, anything in that combination, that I would get along more, which is not necessarily true. And that also meant I couldn't walk around in booty shorts in pajamas regularly. That's just how, yeah, I just couldn't do that in the kitchen. Of course, you should wear clothes in the kitchen because it's like, you're not the only ones that live here. These aren't your family. These are roommates. They're not like people that, like, oh, I seen you naked come out of your mother's hole. I'm so sorry, but you know what I mean. So anyways, it was terrible. And what I mean by terrible is that these new group of roommates weren't so bad in the beginning. I wasn't perfect either. I don't think it was very smart that we played a game of drunk Uno. I didn't get drunk, but I got tipsy. And I made the other girl think that I was trying to, like, I was scared, and I got her drunk because I kept getting the skip cards and everything. And so she was, like, lying on the floor. And it's just a lesson learned that just because you're 18, just because your parents aren't around, and doesn't mean you shouldn't use, like, you should be responsible if you're going to drink, even though you shouldn't drink underage. You should be responsible and drink with people you trust, not total random strangers that you've never met before. And honestly, a few of the girls were like, oh, this girl and this girl, like, two of them, one of the roommates that we had, her friend was the other roommates, and I didn't realize, but they were kind of mean with it. They thought it was funny that everybody was getting drunk and tipsy, and I was tipsy, she was drunk, and so everybody was like, ugh, those girls. So it was just, long story short, not a good idea. Broke some potential friendships on the very first day, and just don't do it. Drink responsibly. Drink with people you trust. Not everyone's your friend. And nothing bad, like, sexual happened. Although, yes, it did. There was this one girl, and I was tipsy to the point where I wasn't drunk. I was aware, but I couldn't stop laughing. And I was a little dizzy. And she just started twerking on me. And, of course, some people don't think that's sexual, but I didn't like it because she was just right up on there, and I know what she was trying to do. I tried helping up the girl that I got drunk, but she was like, leave me alone. So I was like, okay. You don't want to be touched. You don't want to be picked up. Okay, that's fine. It's just, long story short, don't do it. Don't get drunk. Don't play drunk Uno with friends you don't know. Of course, in college, you can get to know people, but you need to get to know them first before you do that. Don't do crazy stuff like that. That's not okay. But basically, because it could have gotten worse. What if there was a guy in there? What if there was a girl that wanted to do something? Things like that. And it could have got worse. It could have got worse. Thankfully, it didn't. But I'm just telling you guys, so you know, don't do it. Long story short, a few of the girls ended up moving out. They moved in. They were all friends. So they moved in their own apartment in the same complex. They just moved down the road. The other girl that was turned out to be mean, she was like, I don't know. She gained up on me. We had some other roommates. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of you. She brought her boyfriend over. And that's another thing. Always make sure that you stay in an apartment that has utilities included, because it's so annoying to have to worry about, oh, I just paid rent, now I've got to pay the utilities. Stay in a place that has utilities included in the rent for 4 bedrooms, or if you have roommates especially. I'm not sure how it works with 1 bedroom, because all of my experience is not with the 1 bedroom, because I have not stayed in a 1 bedroom yet, but this is just what I'm saying. And then also, like, eventually, it was fun because I got to walk around. I got a lot of exercise during that time. Everything was right there, primarily for if you wanted to go to a restaurant, like go and get your morning coffee or go to class, you were right there, so you didn't have to worry about getting up 2 hours before. I still did, because I'm just really bad at getting up. Like, I get up and I'm an early bird, but then I'll lay there, stay on my phone, stuff like that, and I have a problem with that, but I'm still working on it. I'm pretty sure lots of people have that same exact problem. But anyways, fast forward. There was a problem. Another person moved in near the end of the lease, and this one of the girls, the girl that I had problems with before with her boyfriend and stuff, she got mad at everybody because we were mad at her because her boyfriend was just staying over, to play video games all day long, and it would raise up the utility bill because we went from paying $80 for utilities to $200, and that's not fair. But anyways, basically after that she had to move, and I really wish I could put this in an easier way because I'm still figuring it out myself. When you go to a leasing office and try and get a roommate resolved, they really don't care. They just want your money because you're a tenant, and they don't care if you don't renew your lease. They act like they do, but they don't care. Because they know they're going to find somebody else to rent the lease because people need a place to stay, and they're going to take the risk despite what reviews. And so when people have a roommate resolution or any of that stuff, it doesn't really work. They just do that so you guys can work it out yourselves, but it doesn't work if none of you want to work together because you have disagreements. And I know from experience, because I think it's really ridiculous that after I was reporting that girl, because she would walk in there with her underwear, booty all hanging out, and her boyfriend would walk in there in the house coat after they did they had sex. It was just gross. And I don't think that was fair, because if they want to do that, get your own 1-bedroom apartment. Don't come in here with roommates you share. We don't want your sexy germs, okay? And it's not sexy. That's nasty, disgusting, disgusting. But anyways, the next time, so fast forward out of that, the girl finally moves after the other roommate dad was like, I'm paying this much for my daughter to stay here, you better do something. And they did something miraculously. When I said something, they didn't give a shit. But anyways, next apartment, everything seemed to turn out great, but it was around the same issues, only this one was different and involved laundry. And one hard thing that I had to learn is laundry. Everybody has different schedules, and try and work something out. However, like, it's really ridiculous to say, but you can't stop your roommate from cussing you out or stuff, even if they're in the wrong. But it's still not okay for them to coerce you into something you don't want to do, especially when they're being disrespectful to you. And I had an issue with that in the second apartment. We also had another roommate who moved in the second apartment. I'm not going to pick on anyone who has mental health issues, because that's a serious thing. You never know what someone's going through, but she was schizophrenic, I believe, and apparently one of my roommates did a research on her, and she went to jail before on domestic abuse of beating somebody up, apparently. And she was crazy, like, to the point where it was like, Jen, don't come in my room. It's like, I've never went into your room. I don't want to go in your room. Why would I go in your room? And you could hear her out at night knocking on people's doors, all these weird things. It's like, what are you doing? She'd pour stuff on the floor. What really was ridiculous is when she spelled out in Cheez-Its right in front of my door, Dennis the Menace. And I was so pissed, because it was like, what in the hell? But anyways, she had to go. And that was after constant times all of us roommates reported it to the leasing office. She had to go, and she left. Then there was also situation after that. The other girls got mad at me because I cussed one out because she moved my clothes while I was in the shower. I didn't hear her knocking on the door. And honestly, I could have responded it in a better way because I didn't see the text messages because I was in the shower. But she still could have waited. Even if it was just for a little bit. I can understand if you had to wait for so long that you just got tired and was like, you know what? I have to do laundry too. And you moved my clothes. That is understandable. But it was only for, like, I was in the shower. I didn't see her text message. But that happened. And then this one of the roommates, she held a grudge against me for that ever since. And I thought that was stupid. But she wasn't really nice anyways. So. But anyways, after that, we ended up doing laundry days after this big stupid fight that was really, really ridiculous. No physical fight, but it was just them two people cussing me out until they were like, laundry day. And I was like, okay, I'll try the laundry day, which I think is funny because they cussed me out. They did all that, all for them to ask on my assigned day because they were like, oh, if you use my day, I'm gonna punch you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so they were like, oh, Jan, can I use your laundry day? And me being me, I was like, sure. At the same time, it's like, wait a minute. Didn't you all just cuss me out and threaten you're going to beat me up? Because I said if I use your laundry day. So, same as that thing. And then my latest one, you should never, ever, ever, ever let anybody coerce you to anything. Because these roommates, the last ones I had, they were just awful. They were a part of a sorority. And being a part of a sorority doesn't excuse anyone's behavior. That doesn't mean I should stigmatize them and saying that all people are part of a sorority act like this. But they were just ridiculous. Their dog would go and aggravate my dog. And I get it. Dogs are dogs. They're going to bark at each other. But no owner should be letting their dog come downstairs without with their supervision and coming outside in the middle of the night to have that dog barking at your dog all day, all night. It was so annoying. And it was on the owner's fault because I've never had that before. Like, I've had my dog around other people's dogs. And granted, dogs are dogs and they're going to bark, but I've always had the owner be like, oh, no, don't do that. And I tell my dog, oh, no, don't do that. There is no excuse for letting your dog do that, especially by waking up people in the middle of the night every single day. And it got to the point that eventually I knew it was on purpose. They also threatened to hit me and punch me because I moved their clothes because they would keep it in there for days and days and days. It's like, hey, I had to go to school. I don't have every day to do laundry. I need to use the laundry. And they were like, oh, there's nothing in there. But yes, there would be something in there. And at the end of the day, eventually I got fed up. And this isn't for me to tell a story about roommates. I'm just trying to give some advice on always make sure that you try, if you're an introvert, if you, like, I get it. Not everybody has the same issues with roommates. But just always make sure if apartment, especially student housing, has like, oh, what kind of hobbies do you do? Always make sure you fill that out accurately. Don't try and manipulate it, trying to make it be like, oh, I'll be lenient. Somebody's loud and I'm quiet. No. If you're a quiet person, get a quiet apartment. Do not get a loud apartment. That is a big mistake because then you will be waking up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. with your eardrums bursting with loud noise, loud music. And the leasing office will not do anything about it. And I get it. We're in college. Some people are going to party. But You know what? I don't think there's any buts in that. It's not okay. If you want to have a party, go party somewhere else. Or at least ask. Don't just surprise your roommates. Like, surprise! We made loud noises to wake you up so you never go to sleep. So if you have a test the next day or you have to go to work, well, you better get over it because we don't care. But anyways, and my latest mistake is thinking that things would be better if I had one extra roommate. It was an apartment of 5 in my latest one, and I will never again. That's the long story short. Hey guys, so I am driving back to Orlando because I have to go to the office once a week because my job is not 100% remote. I knew the job wasn't 100% remote when I took the job last year, April 2021. It was 100% remote until they were going to open the buildings due to the pandemic. We're still in a pandemic, and now there may be another one, unfortunately, due to monkeypox, and everybody thinks it's a sexually transmitted disease. It's not just a sexually transmitted disease. So, I'm looking for a 100% remote job, become a digital nomad besides my pursuits of being in film, the film industry, acting, writing, producing, directing, things like that, and writing novels outside of that.